Embarking on a fitness journey has great health benefits. You have higher energy levels, can move pain-free, and feel overall strong. Another byproduct of a consistent fitness routine is that you start looking jacked. I can spend hours talking about the physiological health benefits related to lifting weights and controlled nutrition, but in today's video, let's talk about something more superficial, and that is aesthetics. Becoming the best version of yourself and seeing what your body is capable of accomplishing is a gratifying process. To help you feel and look at your best, in today's video I will discuss 5 laws for building an aesthetic physique. I have used these principles myself over the past several years as well. And if we simplify the process of building an aesthetic physique, it basically comes down to building muscle in the right places while maintaining a lean frame. So we will look at the 5 core principles related to building muscle while also maintaining a lean and healthy body fat percentage. Law number 1 is to change your training from being fatigue-inducing to performance-improving. A training trap you want to avoid is that you go into the gym just to tire yourself out and then go back home exhausted laying on the couch. While it may feel like you're getting a good workout if you are sweating a lot and feeling out of breath during your training, your muscles themselves actually do not grow from fatigue. Muscles grow from being exposed to high amounts of mechanical tension. When you perform 3 sets of 8 reps with the bench press while lifting 60 kilograms, your muscles are being exposed to 1440 kilograms of total work. After this session, your chest and triceps muscles will adapt by growing a tiny bit bigger and stronger. To keep your muscles challenged and adapting over time, we want to increase the total work on your muscles so that further progression can occur. So in the next training week, you may increase the weight on the barbell bench press to 62.5 kilograms, and this increases the total work placed on your chest and triceps to 1500 kilograms. This is how your muscles are stimulated for growth. By progressively increasing your performance in training, greater demands are being placed on your muscles, and these demands force an adaptive response in the form of muscle growth. To give you an example, building my current chest is basically the result of getting from 55 kg bench press all the way up to 110 kg bench press in a 4-year time frame. You will not get these results by doing light chest flies or pumping up your chest with creative exercises. We need raw progressive overload to build any muscle group. Law number 2 is a mental one, and this is probably where most people go wrong in their nutrition, and that is to ignore diet trends and stick to the fundamentals. I've been working as a trainer and content creator in the fitness industry for over 7 years now, and every year there's a new trend that claims that it has the next best diet. First, we had to eat a big breakfast to lose fat. Next thing you know, intermittent fasting comes around and we need to skip breakfast. Then a plant-based diet becomes more popular, and now all of a sudden ketogenic or even carnivore-based diets get all the attention. If we had to believe mainstream media, then all we eventually would be able to eat to have diet-friendly meals would be something like ice blocks. So ignore the noise and focus on the core fundamentals with your nutrition. There are 3 main fundamentals we need to have in place if we want to build a more aesthetic physique. We need a moderate calorie deficit to lose body fat, enough daily protein for muscle recovery, and filling nutrient-dense meals to also supply your body enough vitamins and minerals. Whether you do a low-carb diet, do intermittent fasting, or maintain a plant-based nutrition approach, as long as these 3 variables are in place, you will be able to make good physique progress. We see this in the research too. In a 2017 paper, the researchers analyzed 32 studies comparing high-carb and low-carb diets while matching calorie and protein intake. Both diets were similarly effective for fat loss. Another study on intermittent fasting shows you can lose the same fat and have the same muscle maintenance as a traditional dieting approach as long as calories and protein are controlled. So focus on the variables that actually move your progress forward. Control calories to be in a 20 to 25% calorie deficit, consume at least 0.7 grams per pound of your body weight in protein, and have 1 cup of fruits and vegetables per 1,000 calories you consume to also maintain an overall nutritious diet. The rest of your nutrition approach can mostly be determined by personal preference. Law number 3 is related to training again, and that is to maintain the right training volume. Next to progressive overload, another key variable to understanding your workouts is volume. Training volume in simple terms is with how many challenging sets you train a certain muscle group. Theoretically speaking, with the more sets we train a particular muscle, the more stimulus this muscle receives, and you can build more muscle. But in practice, the human body has limits. We cannot train a certain muscle with unlimited number of sets because this will cause simply too much fatigue. We want to perform enough volume to stimulate your muscles, but not so much that you become too fatigued to actually make progress in the training sessions. Fortunately, there is research that gives us general guidelines on how many sets we need per muscle group in order to build muscle optimally. Based on current research, training each major muscle group with between 10 to 20 sets per week is a good aim. The more advanced you are, the more volume you need to make significant training progress, so then you can stay closer to the 20 sets per muscle group per week target, while beginner trainees need less volume to make progress, so they can stay closer towards the 10 sets per muscle group per week aim. To help you determine the number of weekly sets per muscle group you need, I made a video that dives into more detail on training volume, and you can find it in the description below. But for now, make sure you maintain a training volume that challenges you without running into recovery issues. The fourth law puts us back into nutrition again, and that is to make sure that you do not chase fat loss forever. A calorie deficit is required to lose fat, but eventually you will hit a wall with muscle growth if you stay in the calorie deficit for too long. While there is clear research showing that you can build muscle while losing fat, this phenomenon is a lot more common in beginner trainees or individuals that come from a training break and have muscle memory benefits. Simply put, your body cannot thrive if you are constantly in a deficit. So also plan periods of higher calorie eating, even if you are not shredded yet. You do not have to be crazy shredded before you start something like a lean bulk. In fact, I tell most of my online coaching clients that are beginner trainees that they will typically not become ripped in their first fat loss phase, but the magic typically happens in the second fat loss phase. And let me explain why. When you first start your fitness process, you may have a skinny fat body type, in which you have stubborn fat but your muscles are not so well developed yet. The best way to go about your fitness process here is to lean down so you can create a lean frame, and then maintain a lean bulk to build more muscle on top of that lean frame. This requires patience, because after your first fat loss phase you may look lean, but your muscular development is not at a very high level yet. After a lean bulking process, you will have built more muscle while maintaining a relatively lean body fat percentage. And when you lean down after this lean bulking phase, there will be much more muscular development to showcase. In essence, we need both phases. We need a lean bulking phase to help us build more muscle, and we also need fat loss phases to help us expose more of the muscle that we have built during the lean bulk. I discuss how to go about fat loss phases and lean bulks in more detail in other videos. But if you would rather have my help in guiding you through your lean bulking and fat loss phases, you can also apply to my one-on-one online coaching service, and I will personally guide you in your fitness process. The fifth and final law is a combination of two core principles, so we basically have 6 laws, but I just liked calling the video 5 laws of building an aesthetic physique because it sounded better to me. But essentially, the fifth law is to make sure we also employ patience and prioritize sleep. Patience is key because everything we discussed in this video takes time. Losing fat takes time, improving your nutrition habits takes time, and even progressive overload takes time. As I mentioned, it took me 4 years to build my bench press up to 110 kilograms. The only way we can make this fitness process a success is if we accept that good things take time. But that's also why a natural aesthetic physique is seen as valuable. It's not easy to attain, so making it happen is an accomplishment you can be proud of. And about sleep, let's not underestimate the importance of quality daily sleep. There is research showing that sleep restriction directly decreases muscle development and slows down fat loss. Therefore, if you're looking for the best supplement to boost your progress, sleep better. There's nothing like it. And that was all for today's video. I hope you now have some practical action steps you can take to build a more aesthetic physique. As always, if you have any questions, feel free to leave them in the comments below. Also, if you found this video helpful, then leave me a thumbs up, subscribe to the channel if you haven't yet, and then we'll see you in the next one.